Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. In this video, I would like to talk about some important functions or most frequent functions used for data frames in Python. So let's consider this data frame. We have some names over here and their IDs and then their marks for some courses that you can see over here. So the very first thing, the very first function I'm gonna explain here is rename. So I'm going to change Ken to Henry and physics to science. So I'm going to use rename, the function is rename. So df.rename. So for the rest of this whole video, I'm going to use functions and then make changes and then save it into a new data frame, because I'm going to keep this data frame, which is called df, as it is for the rest of the video. So that's why so for the whole video, it will be saved into a new data frame. Okay, so df.rename, and then I'm going to change something in the index. So index, and then we have a dictionary, and then Ken, that should be replaced by Henry, as you can see over here. And then exactly the same thing can be done to change physics to science, with this difference that, index should be columns, as you can see over here. So let's see the result, and then this is df1, and then inside the df1 I'm going to rename the column, and then I'm going to save it into a df1 again, and then you see the answer. So let's see the result for df1. You can see Henry and science over here. So the next thing is set and reset index. So if you have a column that you would like it to be the index column, you just say df.set underline index, and then that specific column, which I used ID, and then it is going to be saved into a new data frame, which is df2, and then you see the result. And now ID is the index column. But what about reset underline index? When you use reset underline index, this column will be added to this data frame, as you can see over here, and then for the index we will be having some numbers 0, 1, 2, 3. So you see, this is added to the main data frame as a new column, and then so we will be having 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the way that reset underline index works. The next one is edit a column and add new columns. Okay, so I'm gonna edit the column for chemistry, and I'm gonna put these numbers. So as simple as that. So first of all, I'm gonna copy df into df3, and then inside df3 I'm going to use this column, and then I'm going to put these numbers over there. So you see, the one specific column has been edited over here, as you can see. And if you want to add new columns with headers GPA science, you could put a list of values over here, or an arithmetic operation of some different columns in the data frame. So I have chosen chemistry and science, the average value of chemistry and science, to be GPA for science, and then you can see the value over here. And then as you can see, all these marks are out of 20, and then if I want to scale it out of 5 to be out of 5, so I just divide it by 4, and then it is going to be a new column, which is called scaled, which is the header for the new column, scale that you can see here, and then GPA science divided by 4. So my whole idea here is to show you how you can add a new column to your data frame. So you could put a list over here, or you could work with existing columns to get a new column. So I just wanted to show you how these things work. The next thing is insert new columns. So insert is a little bit different, with two different features. Number one, you cannot say, okay, df4, like df.insert, and then save it into a new data frame, which is df4. It doesn't work like that. So it means that you should use insert for the data frame, like in situ, like in place. So it should not be saved into a new data frame. And another thing is that, you do this in place, but you should not put in place being true over here, because in place is not an attribute for insert. So you can do whatever you want without putting in place here. Okay, so let's now go on and see how insert works. So now I have df4, and then I have to change everything in df4 right there. And the very first argument is, okay, where would I like to have the new column? Where is the index? What is the index for that specific column that I would like to add? So it is 2. It means that 0, 1, 2. So it should be here. And then what is the header is geometry that you can see here. And then what are the values? It could be a list. And then you see that here. And then let's do another example. The index is 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. And then what is the header? GPA math over here. And then what are the values? It could be an arithmetic operation of some specific columns, some different columns over here. And then you can see how it works. So the next one is how to remove a row or column. So to remove a column, so to remove, we use drop. And then, so df.drop, it is going to be saved into new data frame. And then I'm going to drop 2 columns, art and chemistry. And then just because I'm working with columns, I should put axis being 1. Because when I say axis is 1, it works this way. It works like along the columns, from the first column to the last column. This is the meaning of axis is 1. When axis is 0, it is like top to bottom. So like I'm considering different rows. So this is the difference. So axis 1 considers all columns like in this direction, as you can see, and then axis is 0. It is like from like top to bottom, from Martin Ken down. And so what if I'm gonna drop some rows? So I just use, so now I have df5, and then inside df5 I'm gonna drop something and save it into df5 again, and then I just put the rows, the index for rows that I want to be dropped, and then Martin and Ken, and then they will be dropped. And then you see you have this one. So you don't have to put access being 0 over here, because by default df.drop will drop some rows, some specific rows that you give it here as a list. Remember, it must be a list over here. And the next thing is sorting. So sometimes we would like to sort based on index. So I'm going to use sort underline index, and then I'm going to save it into a new data frame df6, and then you can see the result. Or I'm going to use sort by values. So that's why I'm going to use sort underline values, and then I have math over here. And then if you want to have the highest value to the lowest value, so you say ascending to be false. It means that it will be descending from the highest value to the lowest value. So this code continues, and then so I will record another video. So this is the end of the first video. So I hope you have found it interesting, you have found it helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment below. So take care, and I see you soon.